足のちょっと動きがおかしい。右が入ります。
He forged his legs out of pure iron. And he used them to literally cut down his opponents. Rob Kaman is a legendary kickboxer who has earned a special place in the Kickboxing Hall of Fame.
Well, that's the name of the game, Howard. Oh!
His style combines both ferocious blows and complete composure in harmony with total indifference to his opponents. He is a true standard of kickboxer, representing a crazy cocktail of power and technique. And each of his fights is a true work of art. Moreover, Kaman conquered the hearts of the audience not only in the ring, but also on the screens. Get comfortable, here we go. Rob Kaman was born on June 5, 1960 in Amsterdam, the city of gingerbread houses, the center of world art and freedom. He couldn't see the potential for his killer legs at Ajax's soccer academy, which is why the Dutch monster decided to try Muay Thai. Through a hell of a lot of training, Kaman made his way straight to the professional ring. In his first fight, he was unsuccessful, but the Dutchman did not think to give up. To satisfy his wild hunger after the defeat, he began knocking out everyone who could fight in Europe.
Morimoto's down again. Well, that's the name of the game, Howard. Oh!
But despite his spectacular fights, he got very little for them. And like a true adventurer, he came up with no better idea than robbing a bank. Robber Rob failed to make a big fortune, so he only received a small prison sentence. After his incredible heist, Kaman, who had never dropped soap in a prison shower, decided to reopen the Muay Thai hunting season. As the years passed, he regained his credibility among the kings of the ring. When there were no more victims on the horizon for the Dutch predator, he decided to discover a new frontier in Thailand. There he faced Changpuek Kiatsongrit, a 7-time world champion whose hands were up to his elbows in blood after beating hundreds of fighters. From the first seconds, Kaman was determined to show the Thai assassin his cat-like reactions, blocking his every blow. Changpuek accumulated his strength and decided to pounce on the Dutchman, but all his ambitions shattered against the Dutchman's concrete skin. In response, Rob decided to use his killer talent of kicking out lower limbs. From which the Thai was left only to crawl on his knees and gnash his teeth in pain. After this fight, Changpuek had to think about buying a wheelchair because it would be hard for him to walk. Kaman was tired of taking care of the Thai, so he decided to give him a well-deserved rest. Only his vacation would not be on a beautiful sandy beach somewhere in Thailand, but on a hospital bed. Through the throngs of fighters Rob had chopped the legs off of, he faced a relic of the past. Legendary veteran Ernesto Hoost, who was already coming off a crushing loss. Every day he spent in training, he thought about revenge, and he finally came to fulfill it. From the first seconds, Hoost began to impose his dominance in the ring, confirming his status as a legend. And then he wanted to break the Dutchman's fatal legs. But this only enraged him and activated Kaman's chipper. Then Rob got bored and decided to throw his opponent like a Beyblade. At first glance, it would appear that the Dutchman was wearing Kingsman shoes. And then he decided to use his bloody fist, which he got from the movie. Each of his subsequent fights in the ring was like a lynching of the daredevil who dared to get into the ring with fearless Kaman. In order to stop the constant executions of the executioner, it was decided to fight fire with fire. The Dutchman received a killer package from his homeland, and the delivery man was Rick van der Hurst. From the first seconds, Kaman began to fire through his opponent's legs with a working combination. But Rick decided to give the storyline a twist and introduce Rob to the soft floor. But that only fueled the fire in the eyes of the insatiable Dutchman. Unfortunately, Rick didn't have a portal cannon nearby to escape the battlefield. There was no hiding from Kaman's rage, and Rick felt the heat of his fury. As a result, the deadly Dutchman made a bloody mess of his opponent. Years passed, and Rob in each of his fights organized a hell of a meat grinder, in which the opponents only did try to survive. The next fighter who decided to test Rob's unrestrained power was Orlando Breinberg.
Donc il était évidemment l'idole.
From the first seconds of the fight, the ferocious Dutchman swept down on Orlando like a hurricane. After such an onslaught, he only had to shrink in pain.
Cherche le foie maintenant, travaille bien au corps. Il a une très belle anglaise aussi.
Attempts to counterattack did not succeed because Rob was light and elusive, like wind blows.
Au cours du match,
Pour le moment, il pense quand même beaucoup à ça.
The murderous Dutchman used blows from which it was time to go to count the stars, but Orlando endured, and it seemed that his moment of glory was not enough for him. Kaman cut his opponent like a tireless butcher, but the referee felt sorry for another martyr and decided to stop the one-sided beating.
Sabré aussi sur les flancs. Et c'est terrible coup de pied.
au bout du rouleau, hein, voilà, l'arbitre.
Every fight of the Dutchman was like a painting, on which he painted his victory with blows like light brush strokes. Toward the end of his career, Rob decided to take the K2 championship, where he was like a hurricane until the final, where he faced Frenchman Jerome Turkin.
Победитель уже, то бой уже решен. Еще пару ударов вот.
From the first seconds of the fight, Turkin had problems with gravity. Apparently, gravity played a cruel trick on him. But Jerome still managed to stay on his feet and gave Rob a French kiss with his fist. Apparently, Turkin had a drink during the break, which made his movements look like those of a drunken master. While Rob fed his opponent with legs, but they were not from KFC. This fight didn't take place on ice, but the Frenchman still decided to show off his figure skating skills. Kaman finally brought the fight to a conclusion and made Jerome do one last dance. Instead of a Gatling gun, Rob had arms and legs to shoot the crowds of opponents. But he realized that his bursting machine guns were beginning to rust, so he chose Alexei Ignashov, nicknamed Red Scorpion, for his last fight. From the first seconds of the fight, the Dutch grenadier began throwing his explosive blows at his opponent. But Ignashov made this fight the most entertaining fight of Kaman's career. Alexei's chopping punches were like halberd swings that made Rob uncomfortable. But these movements did not stop aging Kaman, but only awakened the Dutchman's anger, from which he began to tear the Belarusian like a berserker. But Ignashov skillfully countered, making the Dutch veteran nervous. At the end of 5 rounds of this uncompromising massacre, the victory was awarded to Kaman. But the Dutchman, admiring the power of his opponent, disagreed and said that there were no losers in this fight. It was clear from Kaman's face that the fight brought him great pleasure and was a great swan song to summarize his illustrious career. Rob Kaman has placed himself in the chronicle of kickboxing as a true lion with gloves instead of claws. He went through the pain of brutal Muay Thai training. He also earned his place among the real stars of Hollywood. By his example, he inspired hundreds of people to take up sports and conquer new horizons.
Еще пару ударов вот.
Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our channel.